Hey guys, what's going on? Hope everybody's doing good out there today. Thanks for tuning back in, much appreciated. Out for another late night tackle room tip. And today I'm going to address a subscriber question, actually a series of subscriber questions I've been getting regularly over the past 4 or 5 months or so. And that is the recurring theme is people want to know how long to fish an area before you leave it. So I'm going to get into that a little bit, give you a lot of good tips and advice, think it might help you out. But real quick, our favorite part of the video, just the housekeeping tips that's got to be taken care of. Just wanted to give the weekly remind everybody once again that I'm offering memberships on the channel. If you guys are interested in becoming members, you get additional videos every week. You get access to my personal email address for your personal fishing questions with some memberships. If you're interested in that, you can go to the my YouTube homepage and click on the About section and then hit Intuitive Memberships. Gives you all the info there, and that's a great way to support the channel here if you like what I'm doing. Much appreciated. And also just wanted to do a reminder, check out fishthemoment.com, all of our weekly new lake map breakdowns we're doing. I'm spending tons of time every week building these lake map breakdowns, so you can get those on fishthemoment.com. All right, guys, let's talk a little bit about when do you know it's time to head on out of an area here. That's the big thing. A lot of this depends on the area itself. One of the biggest things that comes from experience and time on the water that I want to teach you guys is you have to learn how to read potential of the water. You gotta be able to correctly assess how good that area really is based upon what you're wanting to accomplish. Some areas are better for big fish. You may not get a lot of bites. Some areas are better for numbers of fish. Some areas are situational. They have bite windows based upon different weather conditions that you have, different light intensities, different water clarity, times of the day, that type of stuff. So it's a really complex question. It's like when somebody asks me, it's like, Randy, how long do I need to spend on this spot right here? There's a lot of factors that go into it. First of all, how big is the spot? Are you fishing just like a main lake point, that's your spot? Or are you talking about if you're fishing a bluff bank, like a big section of bluff bank? Or are you fishing, just a gravel flat? Or if you're fishing a grass bed? A lot of it depends on the type of cover that you're fishing or the area that you're fishing. But I want to give you guys the key here, because the key that I'm going to give you here that goes beyond being able to correctly evaluate how the potential of an area has, and this is the big key and the big tip I want to give you guys, is internally when you begin to feel like you're just casting and that you don't expect to catch a fish, that is the time to leave or change up what you're doing a little bit. Change techniques, change area. You guys know what I'm talking about. Everybody that's watching this video has been fishing before, where all of a sudden you sort of lose confidence in what you're doing and you just feel like you're casting and winding. You're not expecting to catch a fish. What you want to feel in bass fishing, this is the key to maximizing your day on the water, is every single cast that you make, you want to expect to get a bite. It's like every time you make that cast, you're just waiting for that fish to hit. And that comes from a combination of having confidence in the area that you're fishing, has a confidence in the bait that you're fishing. Those two things mix together, and that's the number one thing with it. Now, beyond the mental part of it there, which I consider that the number one thing, the other part of it is there's a couple different factors that will determine how to make that decision about how long. Another good way that I do this is I sort of give it the 15-minute rule. If I'm fishing a spot or stretch of bank that looks good, and it's like everything is perfect, everything is right, and if I don't get a bite in 15 or 20 minutes, something like that, I'm making an adjustment. I'm usually changing area or I'm changing my technique. I don't stick with the same thing that's working. I don't stick with the same thing that's not working on the same banks with the same bait. The only exception to that would be if I'm getting an occasional quality bite. Sometimes, for example, if you're fishing a big swim bait or a big topwater lure, you're not getting hit a lot, but when you do get a bite, it's a quality fish. So if you're getting one bite every hour and a half or so, and it's a good fish, you may want to keep, throwing that area in the pattern, in the area that you're fishing. That's one exception. But other than that, for the most part, that 15 or 20 minute rule is a good thing. And finally, on this whole thing, when you're trying to make that eventual decision about when to leave area, don't leave an area until you feel that you've exhausted the techniques that could possibly produce in that area. Say, for example, again, you're fishing a main lake point and you're fishing a football head jig off into that point in 15 feet of water. If you feel that those fish are there, and then maybe if you had a couple bites here and there, switch it up a little bit. Throw a shaky head, throw a Ned rig, throw a hair jig, something a little bit deeper, or maybe move up shallower on the point, throw a shallower running crankbait or a topwater or something like that. Exhaust what you feel the best options are for that particular area before leaving. So that's just my basic rule of thumb. Like I said, we'll get into more of this in later videos because it is a complex question. But the main thing, guys, is I want to leave you with one thing on this video, is learn to trust how you feel internally, as far as if you feel like you're just casting or if you feel like you have a realistic chance of catching a bass every cast. That is my clue more than anything else. I swear, if I just feel like I'm casting and I don't feel like I'm catching them, my trolling motor's coming up, or I'm in the rod, or I'm in the front storage digging for a different bait, one of the two. So anyway, guys, hope that helps out a little bit. Appreciate you guys watching again. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, please do so. I'd really appreciate that. My family would really appreciate that. And we'll be back soon with another one. See ya.